Hi everyone, my name is Brielle Stevens. I cannot believe we're already in week 9 of this class. Like, time is going crazy. This material is tough. It took me a little bit to get through this. I am a huge visual learner. I get really confused when people do math in their head or explain something because I'm just not an audio person. I need to see it. So if you do learn this style, you might appreciate this video. And if you don't, it's probably not the video for you. I'm going to share my screen and hopefully we can work through this problem together. So question 6 on the Access quiz for chapter 5. Lopez Company reported the following current year data for its only product. The product uses a periodic inventory system and its ending inventory consists of 330 units, 110 from each of the last 3 purchases. And then this information is given. Now, I've already done the math. The figures are filled in here. They're all correct, and I will confirm that at the end. But what I want to show you guys is how I do my work. There are some pretty simple formulas, so please don't get overwhelmed when you see this. But I am an Excel spreadsheet kind of person, and I have previously made some of these templates just to help me plug things in to make sure I know what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, how I'm going to do it. So here I just took a little screenshot of the question so I could fill everything in. Right, we have our beginning inventory, 4 purchases, and a total. So I know that I need to include that information. Beginning inventory are 4 purchases and a total line. So I like to just jot everything down. For some people, again, this might totally be unnecessary, but I've been able to copy and paste and use this template for different questions. I think having it just really helps to give you like a more solid background, and it makes doing future problems faster. So we want to understand, first of all, and like I said, this is given. So right here, it totals 3,110 units for a total cost of $9,319. So that you could totally skip out and ignore. Cost of goods sold is just one equation. I'll get to that in a minute. So the only thing you might want to do to save time is just this ending inventory section. For specific identification, remember we learned that this is most used for high, really expensive items. An example that was given in our reading was something like cars, where you need to know exactly what that one item cost, not on any other of the different types of calculations. So we know that for the last 3 purchases, the December 19th, the October 3rd, and the July 28th, we sold 110 units at their respective costs, which, right, we got from the screenshot right here, 340, 320, and 290. So I just jotted those in. So as I entered in each of these, I have a total column, which is the sum function with those 3. So adding them up, 330. And then to complete the ending inventory amounts, it is the total number of units multiplied by the cost per unit, and then that is a summed total as well. So for our ending inventory, based on the specific identification periodic inventory system, we have what was given, the 330 units, 110 from each of the last 3 purchases. So a total of 330 for an ending inventory balance of $1,045. Now, we know, because it was also given, that our total was $9,319, right? Our total cost of goods available for sale. And we know that the formula to find cost of goods sold is to subtract this amount from this with this amount. So what you can see that I've done here to figure out cost of goods sold is subtracted 9,319, which was given, by 1,045, our ending inventory amount, which is again calculated by what was instructed, those 330 units times the respective prices, for a cost of goods sold for $8,274. Okay, so when I fill that out on my exam, I would enter in, right, that inventory amount right here, 1,045. And then the cost of goods sold is that 8,274. Okay, so it's not a lot of work. Like I said, some of this is repetitive. I already had the template, so it was easy for me to fill it in, but you might just want to do this piece, you know, and know what do you need, what do you not need. When I can really write it down and visualize, it helps me not make mistakes. And this is just a basic subtraction equation. Weighted averages. Again, so this one, for time purposes and just to show, and I didn't have an example of this one done to this template, I mean, to the same extent. So it just demonstrates right here. The total material cost, which again is given, the 9,319. Total units, again, that was given 3,110 from the problem. So I know what our totals were. The weighted average cost per unit. All you need to do is divide the total material cost by the total number of units, which is what I did. And Excel thankfully popped out this nice little value for me. Our ending inventory, we know it's 330 units. It's the exact same, you know, given from this problem right here, ending inventory 330 units. That 110 piece, that's only specific inventory, specific identification. We don't need that for weighted inventory, but we do still need to know our ending inventory for always will be 330. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So our ending inventory value, all we need to do is take our ending inventory. It's exactly like what I did over here, just in a different format with less space. 330 times that one number, 2.9965, to equal 988.83. So I know that this number, right, if I had it in the same format, would be right here, the 988. So if it was in the same format, it would maybe look right. Something like this, with all the rest of the information filled in above, okay? And then we do the simple equation to find out the cost of goods sold. And that is this amount, right? Our cost of goods available for sale minus our ending inventory to get this very simple formula, simple figure, and find out what our cost of goods sold is. Okay, so again, just a more simple version, but taking that weighted cost per unit, which is total material cost divided by total units, times your ending inventory, and all three of those were given: units, cost, ending inventory amount, to find the values. Okay, pretty basic math. It's just about plugging it in, which is why I've done this big visual. Next, we're moving on to the FIFO method, first in, first out. So this is the same for everything. I copy and paste it, same across. Once you put in the values, it's done. All I need to know is that so in my specific question, right, I had 360 items purchased on December 19th. And I know, oh, I'm sorry, I did this like one line up, but it doesn't really matter. I know that I had 330 remaining inventory pieces. So no problem, pretty simple. I just need to adjust my formula. Again, if you're feeling overwhelmed, there are other videos for a reason. I just like to see the math. Sometimes people say it and do it in their head, and this way you can go back, you can look, you can pause and just try to see what I've done where. So again, this is this first part all given. You could totally not do that, skip it, just look at this screenshot if you wanted to, okay? So I know that there were 330 pieces of remaining inventory. And when I look at my last purchase, we had 360 pieces remaining. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. That means all in all, sorry, I just had to double check one thing. That means all in all, right, that I have this balance I need to take out multiplied by the cost, which is given. So when I do the math, 330 times 3.40 equals 1,122. And that is my ending inventory amount, right? We know sometimes with questions, we don't have the ending inventory. We have to calculate how many units are left. This time it's given, so we don't have to do that whole extra step. Which is, so if you're thinking, well, why, like, how did she get 330? How does she know? Doesn't she have to subtract it from 360? Nope, because it's given. And some questions aren't, and then that extra math is required, but it's not here. So it makes it really easy. All I have to do is say, okay, there's 330 pieces left, 100% times the $3.4, because that's what we purchased them for. That equals 1,122. Guess what? Same equation. If I want to take 9,319 for our total cost of goods available for sale, minus our ending inventory amount, our cost of goods sold were $8,197. Okay, moving on to the last one. Last in, first out. Again, still periodic. Same information here, all of it is given. Now we know we have 330 pieces of inventory left. Maybe that's because your assistant manager had to count it, you trust them with your life. Maybe it's because you checked your software system, that's what you see, whatever. It's fixed, it's known, it's given. So I have to adjust that based on how we took those purchases. Maybe a good way to explain it would be, it's just matching up cost, right? If you went to the grocery store and you bought 330 toothbrushes total, but you had to do them on 2 transactions, and one of them let you have a coupon and one of them didn't, right? You have to make sure that you have the right amounts for with the coupon and without. Otherwise, your math is off. You don't know how much you really spent. It just gets crazy. So hopefully just putting that into context helps understand a little bit. If you already got it, good for you. Help teach another person so you can learn more. So I know that, right, we have 330 pieces remaining, and here in January 1st, we had 210 pieces. So that way covers the 330, right? It's bigger than 210. So I know all 210 pieces are purchased for this cost, $2.40, which is given. So our ending inventory, right, 210 times 2.40 each is $504. Now it's pretty simple. Did I do it? LOL. Always remember your equal signs. So I know there's 120 pieces remaining. How do I know that? We have 330 pieces of balanced inventory minus the 210. That's 120 units. We purchased 460 units in this transaction. So I know that I have enough to cover it. I only need a balance of 120. We purchased them right at 275 right here. So I know 120 units times 225 equals $330. Again, I can confirm always, because I've just put in a total. This is just the sum formula, that I have 330 pieces of remaining inventory, ending inventory, which is correct. Again, I summed these two totals, 504 plus 330 for the respective prices of inventory purchased at that time. And I know that my remaining or ending inventory cost me $834. And if you haven't learned the formula by this time, I don't know how many times I can say it. You have your cost of goods available for sale, which is always given, almost always given, and you subtract it by your ending inventory to find your cost of goods sold. So that is how I did calculations for the first section of the questions. After that, I simply entered in the information based on, what I had listed. So it asked ending inventory and cost of goods sold for each one of them. So 1,000, oops, sorry, skip. Weighted average, where are you? Okay, so hopefully you can see 1122, 834, 8197, 8485. So almost done. Now we go over to E. Which method yields the highest net income? So I just took, again, I had this template saved, so it made it very easy for me. The very simple fact that I put in our sales, which is the same, right? It's given this 9319 right here, and that's the same for each different method, so across the board. And then I entered in the cost of goods sold for every single different, method. So FIFO up here, cost of goods sold. Yep. So I just entered those into their respective places based on their individual values, right? And then, sorry, I'm not trying to blur it around too much. Then it's just really simple math. You take the sales, you write less, subtract cost of goods sold to get a gross profit, 1,122, 834. It's the same formula for each one. Use sales minus cost of goods sold. And then you look to see which figure is the highest. And in this case, it was FIFO. So I just marked it red. So it was really easy for me to look at this and go to my quiz, type in FIFO. And if I check my work on this problem, we will be able to see that everything is complete and correct. So again, I hope that if you're a visual person like I am, this helped you to look at and to understand where things go, how each method works in terms of taking things out, when to take them out, where to use which figures. If this feels overwhelming, remember you can completely disregard this entire column. This is just one equation, so maybe all you want to do is the ending inventory. Figure out what's left by which amounts. The only time you really have to do breakup math is for the specific identification, where it tells us there's 110 units sold at specific prices, and in last in, first out, because the ending inventory amount of 330 units needed to be broken out between the two purchases. For my question, if yours is different, just check those values and figures. I sincerely hope this was helpful, you guys. Looking at the additional resources is really great. Brother Fox is a really great resource as well. Make sure you're just looking up YouTube videos, trying to do extra reading to understand anything that you don't get. The more you can just be immersed with it, the easier it will become. Thank you, everyone. Good luck.